Here is where I get to set my spirit free. Here is where I find my naturality. Where are we going?
Where are we going? COVID has affected everything from taxi drivers to the music industry. Student organizations here on campus have also felt its blow. With remote learning in effect, as well as social distancing, students miss the opportunity to connect with friends, and fraternity and sorority enrollment is down. How are these organizations staying afloat? Will they survive the pandemic? And will these essentials to a college campus ever be the same again? Today, we will hear how Melanie Intriago, Vice President of Lambda, Theta, Alpha Latin Sorority Incorporated, views the current pandemic in the context of student organizations, and how her sorority stands out from the rest. I'm Melanie Formosa, and I'm your host for today. Melanie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Your organization is the first Latin sorority established in the country, right?
Yes, it is. We are actually the first and largest.
Wow. When was it founded?
So we were founded in Kane University on December 1st, 1975, and here at Stony Brook campus, the Delta Zeta chapter was established on April 2nd of 2006.
And what was its mission? Why was it established?
So the purpose of Lambda Theta Alpha is to provide a sisterhood based on unity, love, and respect. We pride ourselves in hosting educational, political, and cultural programs here on campus.
Why did you become a member of the organization?
So I became a member of the organization because of its pride in really getting to know its members and getting into the community. One of the purposes why Lambda Theta Alpha was established was due to the influx of Latinas in the United States for the first time as a whole in Kane University. In fact, Kane University was one of the first schools to even have that large of an influx of Latina students. So coming in as a freshman, you kind of get that sense of like, whoa, I went from a high school that was predominantly people of color to a primarily white institution. So it was kind of like that cultural change for me and trying to figure out where do I fit in. I'm a very vocal person. I love to get out there. So Lambda Theta Alpha is one of those organizations that really allowed that platform for me to really host programs and go out into the community and do what I was most prideful in.
Kamala Harris, the first female, the first Black, and the first South Asian Vice President-elect, pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha at Howard University. She has publicly spoken about her sisters. So how do you feel about these lifelong connections and having Kamala as the first to burst through so many barriers?
Well, first off, having that type of representation in Congress is just amazing in itself. It really goes to speak to the value of just all organizations, not only my own. Something that I also pride myself in is like our chapter is as large as like over 90 sisters who come through different career goals, career aspects. So it just goes to show how like even after you graduate, like you still have that support system. You have sisters who will, if you need them, come to an event, who will be of that support to you when you do want to vocalize your voice. So again, that just goes to show like having that basis of a platform to really go out there and speak on your beliefs and that support system outside of just college in general.
How has COVID changed the sorority?
So I would say at first it was a huge adjustment. You are used to going to like the involvement fair and really getting out and doing community service and hosting these programs where you see like a large group of students come out and support you. So when COVID did hit, it was like, what do we do? Everywhere you saw, everyone was taking up the same ideas of like virtual fundraisers, bingo boards. So it's like, how can we incorporate that differently? And one of the things that I love to highlight is that our sisterhood as a whole adjusted very well. Two events in particular, like our Sisterhood Spirit Weekend, we had the most ever like attendance, which is awesome to get to see like sisters come together from all of New York and really share like how they've been dealing with stuff. And within those workshops, we do have opportunities to speak on how we feel about like COVID and how we're just coping with that. So I think that's awesome.
Have the numbers gone down, though, due to COVID?
I would say absolutely. As like a university as a whole, we kind of had to put a hold on like anything happening because of course we needed to really take into consideration the guidelines and policies with the university and as a whole. So in order to prevent further and to encourage social distancing, that's something that we decided as an organization and as a university as a whole to kind of just put a hold on.
But there have definitely been positives.
There have definitely been positives.
That's wonderful to hear. As far as you are a junior health science major, and you're the vice president of this sorority. So how do you balance everything?
Oh my God, that's a question that I feel like everyone asks me on a daily basis. One of my main ways to balance it is obviously through my own individual organization of having planners, calendars, and therefore that's my own individual accountability. But I would say also having my sisters within the chapter and all these other different faculty and other sister advisors really helps to put in that perspective. It goes back into having that older kind of support system where it's they've been through it, so they can kind of also help keep me accountable as well.
As far as gender inclusivity, I know that your sorority is a Latina based, but you don't have to be Latina, you don't have to even be female, right, to join biologically female?
Yes, so in general, one of our mottos is Latin by tradition, not by definition. So while we are an organization that did get established because of the influx of Latinas, we are not exclusively open to just Latinas. And as for gender inclusivity, I know you've heard me refer to sisters a lot within the past few minutes, but we also do siblings. So we always do greetings as sisters and siblings whenever writing out an email or just reaching out to sisters that we've never met before.
That's great. As far as if a person wants to become a sister or a sibling, what should they do?
So for us, the initial step is to always inquire within another sister on campus or even just attend an informational to then find out more information on how they can get involved.
And when is that next informational?
So our next informational for the semester is on November 16th.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Don't turn around, just keep moving forward.